Every morning, James Parker woke up before the sun, slipping out of bed quietly so he wouldn't wake his wife, Emily, or their 3 children. The house was small, a little worn from years of love and life, but it was home. As he dressed in his neatly pressed uniform, he took one last look at his family, his reason for everything. James was the only provider. He worked long, grueling hours at the company, taking orders, meeting deadlines, and, more often than not, getting yelled at by his boss, Mr. Calloway.
Parker, this report is a mess. You're too slow, Parker. I don't want excuses, I want results.
James never argued, never raised his voice. He simply nodded, fixed the mistakes, even when they weren't his fault, and worked harder. Not for himself, but for them. Because no matter how bad the day got, no matter how much stress weighed on his shoulders, James knew one thing for certain. At home, he was loved. Every evening, after a long day of work, James stepped through the front door and was greeted by the best thing in the world.
Daddy!
Emily greeted him with a soft kiss, a warm smile, and the scent of home-cooked food filling the air. Dinner was simple, but rich with love. They ate together, laughed together, and shared stories about their day. Meanwhile, miles away in a cold and empty house, Mr. Calloway sat alone at a long dining table. No laughter, no warmth, just silence. A gourmet meal was plated before him, prepared by a hired chef, but he barely touched it. He scrolled through his phone, checked emails, and drowned himself in work. Every night, the same loneliness. One evening, after yet another long day, James left the office, exhausted, but relieved to be heading home. But back at the company, Mr. Calloway sat at his desk, flipping through papers when he suddenly froze.
The signature.
James's signature was missing from an important approval document. And the deadline? Midnight. If he didn't get that signature tonight, the entire project would be delayed, and the company would lose thousands of dollars.
Of course, deep down, he knew the truth. I never even asked him to sign it.
But instead of admitting his mistake, he grabbed his car keys and sped toward James's house. Calloway drove up to a modest home, so unlike his grand, empty estate. As he stepped out of his car, the front door at the house swung open, and a small boy with messy hair and bright eyes grinned up at him.
Hi, are you here to play with us?
Calloway blinked in surprise. He wasn't used to children. Did Parker's kid just welcome me? Before he could respond, James appeared at the door, wiping his hands on a dish towel.
Mr. Calloway, what brings you here?
I need your signature tonight.
Of course, but have you eaten?
Calloway hesitated. Why does that matter?
Would you like to join us for dinner?
Inside, the table was surrounded by warmth. Emily setting down a steaming dish, the kids giggling as they fought over who got the biggest scoop of mashed potatoes. It was the kind of home Calloway hadn't seen in years. For the first time in as long as he could remember, he set aside work and sat down at a dinner table with others. No phones, no business, just real conversation. The food was simple but delicious. The laughter was genuine. And as the evening went on, Calloway felt something unfamiliar stir inside him. Loneliness had been his own doing. He had chosen work over warmth, but maybe it wasn't too late to change. The next morning, the office was different. For the first time, Mr. Calloway walked in, not with his usual frown, but with a smile.
Good morning, everyone. How was your weekend?
His employees exchanged stunned glances. Mr. Calloway? Smiling? And when James arrived, Calloway approached him, not to yell, but to shake his hand.
Parker, thank you.
Kindness is free, sir. It's never too late to share it.
From that day forward, Mr. Calloway never yelled at his employees again. Instead, he made an effort to greet them, to listen, and to appreciate the people who made his company successful. And every night, as he sat at his once lonely table, he remembered that warm meal at James's house and the lesson it taught him. Moral of the story: kindness is powerful. It can change even the hardest hearts. Never judge people only by their work. Everyone has a story behind them. Money and power mean nothing if you have no one to share life with. Hit like and subscribe for more videos.